on. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about HBAR Hedera hash graph at the request of PTJVV. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Here we are at $22.9. Eventually $2. That's not too far away that you'll be at $2, but for the time being, you probably do go a little bit lower. Do you go below this low? I'm not so convinced that you do. How much would you have to drop in order to get to that down there? Let's see. You'd have to drop. I mean, you'd have to drop over 20%. It could happen. I just don't think it will. I do think that you go a little bit lower from here, though. Looking at the daily RSI, hold on, let's see here. Get this fixed. There we go. Finding resistance at the overbought zone, bouncing off the 50 and then rejecting the 60 back to the 50. That does put the ball in the bear's court. I do think that you're going a little bit lower from here, but nothing that's going to take you to the oversold zone, nothing that'll take you, of course, to lower prices than this low. I think that you will find a higher low in the RSI, perhaps off the 40. It's very common sometimes to find resistance and support off of the 60 and 40 area, to kind of ping pong in between these areas when trying to figure out which direction you want to go. I'm in favor of the upside. The reason why I'm in favor of the upside ultimately prevailing is that you've broken through your downtrend here in the long-term daily RSI that you've got here. You've definitely broken through this trend. You might come back down into this kind of area, but you've absolutely broken it already. So I think that you're not going to get immediate gratification, and maybe this for a couple days was immediate, but I think in terms of overall resolution of this consolidation phase, you might have to wait a little bit longer, right? Maybe next week, maybe the week after. I'm kind of expecting this coming week for crypto to be that last flush out. Whether it's going to be a lower low for cryptos, I don't know, right? But lower than their current prices, sure. I'm sure there will be plenty of cryptos that see lower lows. I'm sure there will be plenty like HBAR that don't see lower lows to see higher lows. But the next low to build from, nonetheless, is what I'm expecting, kind of across the space here. If we look at this on a 4-hour time frame, looking at the 4-hour RSI, getting overbought, not getting oversold, finding support on the 40, rejecting the 60. See what I mean? Ping-ponging between these areas. It can happen when you're figuring out what direction you want to go. I think because you did have an uptrend in the 4-hour and now you're ping-ponging, I think you will prevail to the downside probably. But on the 4-hour, that's different than the daily. So over the coming days, maybe a little bit of downside. Over the coming weeks, probably to the upside. Probably do go into the oversold zone, and with that kind of inclination, I would believe that we do, from a low to a high, we do see prices that are about 21 cents to 19.6 cents anywhere and everywhere in that zone, and everywhere and anywhere in between. Absolutely, we could go lower. You know, I don't believe that we go below this low, but if we were to go below that low, let's entertain that thought for a second. Okay, so from a low point to a high point here, if we were to go lower than this low, the target areas would be about 15.3 to 13 cents, and I don't see that happening. It could happen. Just because I don't see it happening doesn't mean it can't happen, but that would take a lot. It would definitely take a lot, and I think by the time that came online, we would be more aware of it. There'd be some weaker readings in the charts, and we'd be aware of it before that final drop were to happen. So I think for now, the area to consider most would be something around 21 cents to 19.5 cents. I like that area. That's probably where you're going to go down to. You're at 22.9 cents now. 4-hour RSI looking like it wants to go down. 1-hour RSI kind of neutral, but bearishly leaning, to be fair. Neutral, but bearish, yeah. For right here, it's neutral, but overall bearish. So I think that you continue to consolidate a little bit to the downside. All that's agreeing. And then if we look at it on a weekly aspect, you are sitting on top. This is definitely a bull flag, right? Lower lows, lower highs. It might not look as much on a daily time frame. It kind of looks a little bit ugly of a pattern, but it definitely seems to me as if this is a bull flag you're flagging out, or finding some kind of phase of consolidation relative to this overall move here, right? I'm very much not concerned that HBAR is going to give this whole thing back. Anything can happen. You never know, right? But here, kind of a similar idea, where you moved up, you consolidated, and then you continue out of this. Now this one isn't a good example of what I think is going to happen here, but it is a good example of how you would react out of this, right? You don't just continue to bleed into nothingness, unless whenever it is time to break out and you're bullish, you don't get the follow through. So of course, then you bleed down. But still an upwards breakout, right? And then whenever things go wrong, whenever this move, this bullish expectation, the bull flag is busted, that's when you actually see your movement down, right? And that's a bit more fierce. It happens in a shorter amount of time. Anyways, anyways, getting away from myself here. At this high to low, look at that. I also don't think that you're going to go below this low, because right there, this high, you're finding support right here at this prior area of resistance, which is also a prior area of support going back here, right? Back to like these areas right here at about 17 cents, 18 cents. Found support right there too before you dropped. High to low, you hit the 1414, went just above it. That's very common to do. And now you're holding support at the 100. That's a very nice look. I would like it if you continued that, because if you do go below, you likely, again, 15 cents would be the target area. If not, even potentially prices that are as low as 11 cents, 10 cents could be on the table if you really want to talk about it. But I don't think that you're going to go down that low. I think that whenever it comes time for you to move up higher, the next prices to consider would be likely new all-time highs. Prices that are at 67 cents, prices that are at $1.18 and beyond. When this move is all said and done, I would strongly believe that you are somewhere between this area of about $1.20 to $2 itself, and you could absolutely be higher than that. Again, we were talking about this being a bull flag. If it is a bull flag, and I think it is, but if it's not, whatever. Maybe you see a move that is similar to this last move. Let's throw out the idea of a bull flag entirely. What if you just, when you move up out of here, you see a move that is similar to this? It doesn't have to be as big. Maybe it's a little smaller. Maybe it's a little bigger. You will be breaking out to new all-time highs and coming out of this slump that we've been in since December. A lot of people are getting very bearish and pessimistic on crypto. We've got a very low reading in the crypto fear and greed index right now. And I think that whenever reality slaps people in the face, we're going to see some very positive endeavors indeed. From a low point here, if we are treating this like a bull flag, and again, just assuming this would then imply that you're moving the same amount as you did coming up into this consolidation phase, that would take you up to about $1.70. So right in between this area here of $1.18, $1.20 to $1.96, right there. And again, if we see a move like this, that's right where we would be. But if we see a move that is slightly stronger, maybe we go to $2. If we see a move that's slightly weaker, maybe we stop at $1.20. But something, anything and everything in between is what I think is going to happen. Hold on. I am in favor of the notion that we get close to $2, but we don't achieve $2. That's what I'm in favor of. From the current price, that'd be something, even at a minimum at $1.20 area there, that's about a 5x. And then if we do get up to around $2, but not quite to $2, that'd be something around an 8x move. And then, of course, the measure move itself from the current price of about 23 cents would give you a 632% move, a 7.3x. So definitely solid gains to be had. Solid gains to be had by HBAR Hedera hash graph here over the coming months. It just depends on whenever we're going to get started here, right? We've been expecting this move to happen for quite some time, and it's just taking its sweet time to do it until we break out. It's going to be hard to guess when, I guess, these moves will top off, when the move will come into full maturity. My expectation is it will be either at the end of April or sometime early in May that these high points for this next phase up would come into play. Beyond all of that, I suppose if we take the last cycle's high here to the bear cycle low right there, your 1272 lines up very well with this 2272. Your 1414 lines up very well with the measure move, actually pretty well. And oftentimes with the 1414, you do go just above that. So just like here, with this 1414, you went just above it there. So seeing prices around $2, just below $2 makes sense to me. Even just above, I'll say, but the most would make sense to be closer to $2 on the downside. At a minimum, $1.20 is what we're expecting. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.